Hi everybody, welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. Today we are going on a drive to the Gypsum Hills, one of the less flat areas of Kansas, and it's pretty and it kind of reminds me a little bit of Utah in Arizona. So I wanted to read an email that I got from a member of the church in Europe. I have my wife here with me. She's actually going to read it since I'm driving.
Hello.
And then I want to respond to it and give my thoughts. So go ahead.
Okay, so just a warning, I don't have my reading glasses on, so it might be a little hard for me to read, so I'm going to do my best. Hi Jared, love your channel. Thought this might be of interest to you. I don't have the full letterhead as it was clipped as a copy and sent to my friend. We're in the UK and this has just come out to bishoprics and Relief Society presidencies in Europe. Our family have been feeling the promptings to get prepared for a few years, and now especially since the pandemic. But I think this shows that the warning voices are getting louder, especially with the unrest here in Europe at the moment. Kind regards, Sue Baldock, or Susie Q. And the letter says, okay, this is where I'm going to be hard of reading. Brothers and sisters, as a member of a ward or state council, you have the sacred duty to plan ways to teach ward members how to apply principles of self-reliance. These principles include personal and family preparedness. Members of the church have been counseled for many years to become prepared so they can care for themselves, their families, and others in times of need. As the Europe area presidency, we emphasize the words of President Russell M. Nelson and urge you to take steps to be temporally prepared. This includes each member household should have ready a 72-hour emergency kit. Consider the ideas given in the temporal preparedness manual posted on the church's country web pages. In addition, financial and emotional preparing measures are advised. And also, each stake and ward council should prepare a simple written plan for the unit to respond to emergencies. Temples and other useful resources are available on the church's country web pages. Additional support can be provided by the welfare and self-reliance specialists in your unit or the area. At times, caring for our temporal needs may feel overwhelming, but remember that by small and simple means are great things brought to pass. Alma 37:6. When we act in faith and do our part to care for our temporal needs, God magnifies our small and simple efforts. As President Nelson promised, the future will be glorious for those who are prepared and who continue to prepare for the instruments in the Lord's hand. Sincerely, the Europe area presidency.
So I got this email, it was about like a week or so before the invasion started on Ukraine. So I don't know if like maybe they were just concerned about what was going on in Ukraine. I'm sure that they were, but Europe is going through a lot right now. Even before this invasion, like we've talked about a lot on the channel, last year there was a lot of crazy weather hitting Europe. Everything from like tornadoes to there was a lot of flooding in multiple countries. Just like lots of crazy flooding. And again, I don't think there's any reason to believe that this year would be much different, if not worse than last year, if anything. There's been wildfires going on, especially there were a lot in Greece last year. There were a lot of crazy scenes coming out of like Athens and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff going on with the weather. We also have volcanoes that have been going off. That's kind of been like a worldwide happening, but Europe has been included. Last year there was La Palma that went off, and that was like a big story for a while. There's a lot of political things going on in Europe. we also have a lot of movement of people, a lot of immigrants and stuff moving into Europe. And now the most recent development would be this war that's happening in Ukraine. And the last video that I did, we talked about how Russia's looking at other countries beyond Ukraine. It's not just Ukraine. Specifically, a story came out today about the possibility that Belarus and Russia may go after that Transnistria part of Moldova. So, it makes sense that they would give out this warning, letting everybody know across the entire continent, just to be ready. Because, frankly, I did not see this happening this year with Russia and Ukraine. I never thought that this would happen, and yet here it is. We're witnessing it. What other things could happen? Whether it be this year, the next year, now's the time to prepare. Especially when we see these clear signs that that things are changing in the world. We really are getting closer and closer to the second coming. We really, really are. And I don't know. I feel like Europe hasn't seen this much chaos, in a long time. There have been things that have happened, obviously, but like the intensity and the frequency of what's going on right now, it's shocking to me. And it's not over. Who knows what's going to happen next? So I really appreciate that email. I know I have a lot of European viewers. I know that there's several, at least from the United Kingdom. We have Germany, Sweden. I got my friend in Spain, Arif, served in the same mission that I did. Trying to think if there have been any others. I can't remember, but if you're from Europe, well, I guess it doesn't matter where you're from. Wherever you're from, put it down in the comments below. I can look at my analytics, but I would still like to see it in the comments. I think that'd be really cool to see where everybody's watching this from. And if you're in Europe, what's your take on the situation? What do you think the future holds? What are some things that I didn't mention in this video? How do you feel about what's going on in Ukraine? Because that's happening a lot closer to where you are than where I am, even though this could, escalate and go beyond just Ukraine and beyond just Europe. There's talk that this could be the beginning of World War III, according to the last video that I did and what we read. So we're living in really crazy times. It's just, I don't know. It's interesting that we have this letter coming out from the area presidency for Europe. And then just a few weeks ago, we had the European member devotional for all of Europe with President Nelson, where he specifically spoke to them. I did a video on that. If you missed it, I took notes. You can go and listen to the notes that I took. It was a really good devotional. It's been brought up a couple times. In fact, I received a comment today. Sorry, I don't have my phone with me right now. Like, I can't look at it because I'm driving. But there was one girl that talked about it today in the comments. And then I know that Rachel Zumaya and Bob D have brought it up that it seems that after President Nelson has given his, or has done these devotionals afterwards, disasters have happened. And I'm not so sure when it comes to the devotional that he did for Kansas and Oklahoma, because people have said how oh look, he spoke to the Midwest and then you had this outbreak of tornadoes. It didn't really affect, to my knowledge, Kansas or Oklahoma, and those were the two specific states that he spoke to. It wasn't for like the whole Midwest, but that's the one thing that I would point out. But yeah, since he spoke, there definitely has been a lot going on in Europe. Now we're looking at California because that was the most recent devotional. And, you know, obviously, it's going to be another bad year for wildfires. You know, we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Last year, we had the second largest wildfire in California history. And then there were a couple towns that were destroyed. The one that I can think of, it was Grizzly Flats, and then I think there was like another town, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I covered that within like the first month or two of my channel. I was looking at that. So yeah, we'll just have to see if anything happens to California. I know President Nelson, and I think it was when he was president, he had spoken to the Polynesian saints. I can't remember if it was like specifically to the Samoans. I can't remember, but then, so he spoke to them, and then we had this large underwater volcano go off near Tonga. So I don't know if that, I'd have to look into the details of that, but that's another like, you know, possible one that happened. So, you know, I'm not going to say that I necessarily believe that, but I'm not going to say that I don't. I think I just need to look into it closer. Maybe I'll do a separate video on that. But whatever the case, the point is, when the prophet talks to you, you should listen and take his advice. Whatever that advice is, that's the benefit of having a prophet, is he can reveal to you the will of the Lord. And when he does it for these like specific areas, you know, it's like the Lord himself is talking to Europe or California or Kansas and Oklahoma or whatever. I would appreciate it also. I'm going to try and look this up, but if you guys know of any other of these type of devotionals that President Nelson has done, like that seems to be part of this series where he's going like to these different regions, let me know, because the only ones that I'm aware of are the Kansas, Oklahoma, Europe, and then California devotionals. They've all taken place in the same location, like they're broadcast from the same location. They all have the same format. They start off with like a history of the church in that area, and then you have one couple that speaks. It's usually like an apostle and his wife, and then you have Sister Nelson and President Nelson that speaks, and that's the format. So if you know of any others that have happened before Kansas and Oklahoma, let me know, because I'd be interested to see all the different ones that they've done so far. And I think that they're going to continue doing this. It really seems like he's like going around to all these different areas and talking to them. So I don't know what the plan is. If through this process he's going to talk to the whole world, like I don't know. I think it's interesting that he's doing it, though. The fact that he's doing this like series of devotionals. So, you know, if there ends up being a devotional in your area, if you'd be so kind as to send me the link, I would really appreciate it, so I can keep covering them and keep reporting what I hear to everybody else. Yeah, we're living in interesting times. I'm really excited for this next general conference. You know, now that I have my spreadsheet that I've created where I'm keeping track of all these different phrases and words that are said in general conference talks, I want to see, you know, what it looks like this year, because we don't know yet. And we're not going to know the whole story until the end of the year, or at least after October general conference. but the world does not seem to be slowing down or getting better or anything like that. So, gosh.
Just be prepared. Well, one thought, it's not completely related, but it's interesting. Before Jared had me read that letter, I was thinking in my head, because I have been given much, and I was thinking of giving to a brother in need, and it pointed out in that letter about giving to those also in need. So just remember to be charitable with what we have. We've been lucky to have a prophet, or blessed to have a prophet who teaches us to prepare and be prepared for emergencies, and many people throughout the world don't have such revelation. And I'm not saying give all your food and everything you need to stay alive to anybody, but do be watchful for those who are in need of anything, a home or somewhere warm, blankets, coats, whatever you have that you can spare.
Yeah. And, regardless of where you live, no matter how safe you think you are, be prepared anyway, because anything could happen at any time. In Russia, we talked about the Chelyabinsk meteor that had the force of 30 nuclear bombs. Yeah, that just came out of nowhere, and it injured people. It did cause property damage, but who's to say that a larger meteor or something like that won't just come out of nowhere, or some other event or phenomenon. Like, nothing is I hate to say it, but nothing is completely stable and predictable. It doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter the circumstances. Things can just come up out of nowhere. So, right now, as we're watching the world, and there's more and more and more of these events across all domains, whether it's war, political unrest, weather, earth phenomenons, they're all increasing. So be prepared. First, take care of yourself. Make sure you have the 72-hour kits and make sure that you're squared away. And then that way you can make sure that you can help others after you've taken care of that. So, yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's it for this one. So, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you have anything to add, any other thoughts. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video if you liked it. Make sure to share it, and I'll talk to you guys later.